And supportive to your team and then
Norge. Eire og Erik blir Norge verdensmestere! Heia Norge! Oh!
Cheers. No. No pictures, please.
It's video.
Game officials for this game have been licensed assigned by the International Ice Hockey Federation. The referees are Jan Krivik and Ryan Sewell. The vice persons are Nick Rigandi and Daniel Kinek. The starting 6-line for Team Switzerland.
Back here in Riga, Latvia, it is day 3 of the World Hockey Championship. Tobias Johansson is a Swede who coaches the Norwegian national team. His first year behind their bench. They lost their opener to shootout to Kazakhstan 4-3, led that game 2-0 and 3-1. Patrick Fischer, his 7th World Championship as the head coach of Team Switzerland. Played in the National Hockey League for the Arizona Coyotes. Played for Switzerland in the World Junior, the World Championship, and 2 Olympic Games. For the Swiss, an easy opener, 7-0 over Slovenia. The Swiss had a great preliminary round last year, went 6-0-1. But on the other side, Finland had a tough start, finished 4th, and then beat Switzerland in the quarterfinals 4-2.
Congrats on finishing first.
Yeah.
Look at the hosts. Jonas Arntzen will be in net for Norway this afternoon after Henrik Haukelen played yesterday.
And Robert Meyer starts for Switzerland. He was the goaltender for Geneva this year in the Swiss National League, and they won the Swiss title for the first time in history. The franchise has been around since 1905. It was actually the U.S. who beat Switzerland in the quarters last year. My apologies. But the Swiss roared out of the gate last year, looked almost unstoppable until they got stopped.
The nature of the single elimination tournament, you never know.
They won silver medals in 2013-2018.
Red down fast, please. Thank you very much.
Very polite.
Thank you very much, mixed in. That'll be the last time that's said for the next 2.5 hours.
Liam Sewell, the referee from Great Britain. You know, Niederreiter works it now for Switzerland. The captain of the Swiss team for the Winnipeg Jets. That's played back at the point. Dean Kukan, former Columbus Blue Jacket, who returned to Switzerland this year. Pivots back and drops that back for Enzo Corvi. And a hard shot there from Christian Marty, deflected wide. Here's Marty back with it. Feeds that back to Corvi. Corvi to Marty. Moves around Berg Paulson. Plays that down to the goal mouth. Herzog shoots. And that's turned away by Arntzen. Liljeberg got filled in there by Niederreiter. In comes Herzog on the line change. Almost caught Norway there, but the play was offside.
That was a good start. First shift for Switzerland. Get into the forecheck, control the puck, establish your physical presence. And you see Norway, when they get scrambling around their own end, they back off. Christian Fischer will have his group. Patrick Fischer will have his group attacking, aggressive, as they always are.
Well, that's the big change in recent years for the Swiss, right? They used to be a defensive, sit-back, rely on their goalie team, and now they've developed more talent. By the way, the latest word is that Akira Schmid, the goaltender from New Jersey, will not be coming to the World Championship, but the rumble around the Swiss team is that Nico Hischier, the forward, and Jonas Siegenthaler, the defenseman, are on their way, and potentially, too, Kevin Fiala, whose LA Kings were knocked out a couple weeks ago, but he's been rehabbing an injury.
Respectfully, they probably would like those three. They have good goalies.
If they had to pick.
If they had to pick 3 of the 4, Schmid might be the guy that leave at home anyways, because Giannoni's been a standout goalie. Meyer's very good as well. The fact that Hischier's coming, he's a game changer. He's an elite level player.
First overall pick a few years ago in the NHL draft. Teams can add players right until the semifinal round of this tournament. 22 skaters and 3 goaltenders. Once you've named your team, though, you can't make a replacement.
You'd like to get them as soon as they are available. And if you're going to introduce somebody for the semifinals, they better be a superstar coming over.
It hasn't often worked.
I was on a team, played for Team Canada. We were heading to the quarterfinals. They brought over Larry Murphy, Hall of Famer, Chris Draper, Marty Lapointe for Detroit, who got knocked out. And it didn't mesh well. We won the quarterfinal, but we lost in the semis and the bronze, which we probably could have done with the original group.
We've seen it with Ovechkin coming over late and joining Russia, and you know, their power play would be clicking along, and then he would arrive, and they'd have to run it all through him and change the way they ran it. And it's obviously the greatest goal scorer ever, and they couldn't make it work. Of course, Russia and Belarus remain barred from competition this year and next. As Haga comes in now for Norway, he scored a pair of power play goals in that game against Kazakhstan. They only had 4 in last year's tournament. They had 2 in the game yesterday. Miranda comes jumping in, and Philip Grana took that away. Flushed out by Miranda. The other player that the Swiss could be looking at is Timo Meyer, but unlikely in his case.
Got a big contract like that coming.
Perchi works in, trying to slide that back in front. That pass was blocked.
Just crashed in the boards.
And Turkov is shaken up as he went hard into the end boards.
And he's holding that right shoulder.
Calvin Turkov, a former Columbus Blue Jacket, drafted by them in 2016.
That face says it all. From Patrick Fisher.
Turkov had a goal and an assist yesterday in that game against Slovenia.
Fresh ice not helping either, as you're not getting a lot of friction to slow yourself down. Plays defended by Kazastool. Oof. There's no good way, and he's going to head straight to the dressing room. That is tough. They only had 12 forwards dressed for tonight's game.
Right, so
there is no way. Oftentimes, you can dress 20 skaters plus 2 goaltenders, so you oftentimes have 13 forwards, 7 defensemen, but because they're running a little short,
keeping spots open,
add more players, they'll probably have to play with 11 for the foreseeable future until Turkov comes back if he's able to.
Earlier today, Canada beat Slovenia 5-2 here. The United States beat Hungary 7-1. Vikingstad plays that in. Backus Kukan, who joined Zurich in the Swiss League this year. Norstabo shoots, that goes wide. And Liljeberg steps back up. This shot goes off his skate. Miranda pokes out ahead. Liljeberg had broken his stick on the play.
Oh, one more touch, and Berchi was trying to sneak in. Just couldn't quite find it for him.
And both teams change as Kukan sweeps it back. That shot punched away by Arntzen.
I've seen Arntzen enough to be reminded right away. He catches with his right hand.
Yeah. Unusual.
Some people call it the wrong hand.
Now walking around on his form, he feeds it across to Klauser. Couldn't corral that pass. Johan Johannesson digs that free. I'll knock off his stick. Niederreiter back with it. Niederreiter another 20-goal year in the NHL this year.
He turns those out pretty consistently at this point in his career.
7th time in his career he's done it. That plays offside at the Swiss line.
Well, the Swiss look like they are ready to play. They've come out with a purpose, engaged. Perhaps they got a cautionary tale out of Canada's first period against Slovenia, in which Canada was losing after 1. Eventually woke up and won 5-2, but Switzerland pushing the pace right away.
France and Denmark underway at this hour as well. Loeffel lobs that ahead to Sven Sintler. He's playing in his first major international competition for the Swiss. Kaiser shoots, and that's blocked. Tricadaz tries to clear it out. And here is Dennis Malgin, the scoring star for the Swiss in their first game. Fans on that shot, gathers it back up. Played 60-plus games this year in the NHL for the first time. His 5th year in the league. Traded by Toronto to Colorado in midseason. Played back, and hard shot there by Sentler is turned away.
That shot's nothing to sneeze at. Now I got a lot on that.
Liljeberg plays it back in. The development of Swiss players' individual skills has really been something to see. They always played well as a team, but they're turning out star players now. I mean, Roman Josi is one of the top defensemen in the NHL. Fiala's a terrific goal scorer. Obviously, Hischier's terrific. Bouncing puck in front. Played back by Miranda. Haas trying to find it in his feet. Until recently, you'd have argued who was the best Swiss player in NHL history.
Mark Streit?
Mark Streit, probably.
Roman Josi, obviously.
Who had a very good player, very good career, but off the head.
Johannesson a little headed clearer.
Wow. You've seen goalies do that, but
Virgil van Dijk on the back line.
oh, good pull there. Olsen turns it over, and it's picked up by Tanner Richard. Lauser lead pass for Richard that misfired, icing called against Switzerland.
Right now there's just nowhere for Norway to turn. Oh, this one. The old warm-up soccer game going to good use. Madison swats that one away. Switzerland's just buzzing right now. They are all over the loose pucks. Every time Norway turns up, there's a red jersey right in their face. Stretches where you almost have to survive, just sort of get your footing if you're Norway.
Hoff chips it down, picked up by Mayer. Played the World Junior for the Swiss over a decade ago, a couple years for St. John in the Quebec League, and then Mayer played 5 years for Hamilton in the American Hockey League as a prospect for the Montreal Canadiens.
It's tough competition to become a goaltender. For Swiss, put up good numbers. Everyone's got good numbers in the Swiss League.
It's funny to see a guy with like a .925 save percentage and a 12-12 record. Malgin works it. Malgin shoots, that deflected. And Arnson makes the stop on that. No score here in the first period of the 2023 World Hockey Championship. Past 4:30 local time here in Riga. Happy hour.
Okay, good holiday.
Which started about 10 a.m.
Very happy over here.
Happy hours.
Yeah. Why wouldn't they be? It's gorgeous weather.
Martinson moves in along with Tretinez. Martinson speeds it back in front. Tretinez flips that towards the goal. And Meyer makes the stop.
Good job by Meyer tracking that puck through the deflection. You can see he was right on it. Quick 2-on-1 developing. Martinson trying to keep a puck alive, throws it in front to Tretinez. Has deflected off bodies. Where is it? And Meyer calmly juggles it into his glove. And I wonder if for a guy like Meyer or Giannoni, they would hear the news that Kira Schmid, who they would have known might be coming, might not be coming now.
Right.
Which means that the #1 job for a really good team with a chance to medal is up for grabs.
Leoberg plays it back across to Norstabo. Marty to Corvi. Chris pass ahead to Niederreiter moving in. He defended by Norstabo. And Niederreiter tries to swing that back in. Herzog tries to pick that free, and here's Mathisola moving it back to center ice. Norway's last quarterfinal appearance in the tournament was in 2012. Last year finished 13th. Kind of a changing of the guard for Norway. A lot of their longtime national team players have retired.
Long time is right. They got a whole bunch of guys with 70, 80 World Championship games under their belt. The glove pass blows it down.
Jonas Holos, their longtime defenseman, has retired recently. Played over 100 games at the World Championship.
This is how you have to do it, though. Tobias Johansson mix in new players.
Bitter pill for them to swallow was losing the Olympic qualification, the final game of Olympic qualification on home ice in Oslo to Denmark. Denmark qualified for the Olympics for the first time. Nikolai Ehlers, a big difference maker there, but Matt Zuccarello did come back for Norway to play in that tournament before the start of the NHL season.
You see the coach, Tobias Johansson, has an earpiece in.
Yeah, very unusual to see that.
You never see head coaches communicating with the press box. And always that's an assistant coach's task, and then they filter out the information and deliver it as needed.
And he seems to talk a lot because the assistant coaches are down in front of us, and they're quite busy on the intercom.
Yes.
Big free. Simeon played it across, and Janis Moser with a hard shot there, turned away by Arnson. Now played back. Simeon shoots, scores! Dario Simeon. And it's 1-0 Switzerland.
I think Arnson was hurt by a deflection off his own defender. Thomas Olsson gets his stick in on Simeon just as he is releasing it. It's a nice play, rotating up high and coming right down the slot. And as Olsson gets his stick in there, Simeon releases the puck into the stick of the blade, and you see Arnson overreact to what ended up being a changeup that squeezes through his legs. But it has been one-way traffic to start this game for Switzerland.
Switzerland in the top division for the first time since 1998. And we've talked often, Mike, about the different approaches that countries would have in this tournament. So at the top level, you got the big countries that want to win a gold medal. They come here as that goal. Then you've got the middle teams that want to make it to the quarterfinals, and the bottom teams that want to avoid relegation. Well, Switzerland's been in all three camps at various times in its history. They've been one of those bottom clubs that try to avoid relegation. Now they've been kind of regulars in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, they're not really that anymore. They're trying to push.
They would tell you that
to be medal contenders.
They would like to think they could win a gold medal of this.
Given their performance last year in the round robin, quality of team they have, they can. When it's come down to the biggest game for Switzerland,
that's been the issue.
When their biggest stars aren't available, they've had a hard time scoring goals.
Yeah.
When it's gotten to the very end.
They were 9-0 in 2013 in Stockholm. Got to the gold medal game against the Swedes, but lost that. Won a silver in 2018 as well. Lead pass to Berchi.
Couldn't handle it clean off the skate. He was in alone.
Herzog chipped that over the glass and out.
You see Berchi and Lawful having a little word as he was almost in alone.
Berchi was drafted by the Minnesota Wild, played a handful of games for them.
I watch Berchi play every year here. And every year I come away saying he could play in the NHL if he wanted to. The question is, you know, the role he'd have to play, the physicality of that role, the limited minutes. Would he want to be a checker? Would he want to be a fourth liner? He's a smaller guy, and
and the other issue, Mike, would be that if you're going to go to the NHL, you're probably going to sign a two-way contract, and you make a lot less money in the American League. The Swiss League pays handsomely by comparison in Europe.
Yeah, quality of life riding the buses through the Alps versus riding the buses through the prairies, Midwest United States. Little shorter trips.
Great to see where you're going with that. Sven Settler with it.
It's an easier professional life.
Yeah. Ole Julian Björkfolk-Holm, who scored in that game against Slovenia, or against Kazakhstan, sorry, yesterday.
Much to his own surprise.
That's one that Norway should have had.
You know what's interesting to hear, though? Tobias Johansson before the game said they ran the numbers, and that's a game yesterday that they would win 90% of the time. So they're trying to take the positive out of the game where we didn't play poorly. We didn't get the result we wanted, but we played. Now, who cares in a 7-game tournament? I get it.
Yeah.
But you're trying to take the positive, saying, guys, we played well enough to deserve to win that game.
They've still got Slovenia to play, but you know, you'd have to think they, especially up 2-0 and 3-1, that you could bring it home against Kazakhstan. But
yeah,
Kazakhstan's been a tough out in recent years in this tournament.
They go Slovenia, Latvia, their next 2 games. Those will be, if they want to win one, those you think would be the ones that they would likely have to get something out of.
Yeah. The Latvians will be hungry there. Latvia plays Czechia here tomorrow night. Latvia's off to an 0-2 start in this tournament. Corvi. Tied up by Krogsdal. Herzog knocked that down and played with a high stick. 9:57 to go here in the opening period. Switzerland a 1-0 lead on Norway. Nothing. The Swiss lead here against Norway in the first period, still to come tonight. We'll have the nightcap between Czechia and Kazakhstan. Norway beat Switzerland in 2016. Robert Meyer was the goaltender in that game for the Swiss. It was an overtime win for the Norwegians, who have taken some good teams down over the years. Corby plays that across, knocked away.
Here we go.
Kai Olsen, what?
They've beaten Canada one time. St. Petersburg 2001, 5-3. I know the game well because I played in it.
I was just speaking generally.
But the recipe that they beat my team with, good goaltending,
yeah,
timely scoring, and maybe a bit of an off night for the opponent. And those things come together, which is not unheard of. They can take down any of the top teams.
Well, they would have thought this year coming into the tournament with Henrik Hochland as their goaltender. Hochland was the goalie of the year in the German league, which is a top European league. He was okay against Kazakhstan yesterday.
It wasn't too bad.
But they would view him as a guy who could steal some games for him.
Yeah. You'd think in those games that they feel like they need to win to make sure they don't get relegated, they would have the advantage in net.
Right. Brought up by Gaetan Haas. This one breaks in 4 wide and right in front. A great chance there. And Christian Marty turned away. Another drive was blocked in front from Glauser.
I don't know if that pass was intended for Marty. He just snared it way behind him. I'll take it. In alone.
Eric Salston playing on a line with his brother Havert. For years, this Norwegian national team had the Olem brothers. Ken and Mathis. Mathis is retired, but Ken Olem remains on this club at the age of 34. Tretidez plays that back. That shot was blocked from Krogdal, brought back in by Malkin, in shoots. And the stop is made by Arntzen.
Gaetan Haas catches a stick in his own end, and wondering whose stick is this? Was it his own team's or was it a Norwegian stick? Oh goodness, it was
Eric Salston.
Salston missed there. And right off that, look at this pass here. He throws it to the middle. I think he's intending this to go to Simeon on the back door, but Marty reaches way in behind him.
Okay.
And defenseman during the rush says, I'll take it, I've come this far. Almost in alone because of it. Well, they're gonna give Dennis Mulligan an interference penalty for skating into a stick that had been dropped.
So you have to purposely play it. That's the...
Well, I mean, does he have to, if he gets it with his stick, he just said, I disagree, that's horrible. Loosely translated. If he gets it with his skates, okay, there he's on the ice.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
he shoots it.
He shoots it. Yeah, that's a penalty.
That's a penalty. Now, you could be like, it's in my way, I don't want to step on it. I'm shoving it out of my own way so I don't step on it. Because you dropped it to my feet, I'm clearing my own path. He knew that it was there. He got it out of his own way. I guess. That's tight. That's tight.
A grudging Mike Johnson.
Yeah, that's tight. He would have been better just to skate into it with his feet. Then they'd never call.
Which is counterintuitive, but yeah. Fairchief brings it out shorthanded.
Wrap
around try. That's turned away by Arnson. Literally everyone in the building can see that coming.
Arnson committing to the near post a little early.
Riga plays that back across. With the 2 power play goals against Kazakhstan yesterday.
Yeah. Scouting report out, he can shoot it. Both his goals yesterday on very nice shots. Different kind of shots as well.
Here he is with it now. Played for Linz in the Ice Hockey League. They comprise of teams from Austria, Hungary, Italy, and Slovenia. He played in Linz, Austria, which is a very nice spot.
Is there any town in Europe you haven't been to?
I'm sure there's lots.
That has a major hockey team in it?
Some. Trenton's with it for Ola.
We've got a call on every rink of every player in this tournament so far. Tremendous.
Trenton's with it.
Good squeeze.
Well, that's Kukan with it. Spent 7 years in the NHL and North American.
Pitches him off.
Yeah.
Keeps one hand on the stick, possesses the puck, even has a little pop pass the middle with one hand. Well done.
Kukan elected to come home this year to Switzerland. He was a free agent signed by Columbus in 2015. Spent 7 years in the Blue Jackets organization. That's intercepted and sent down the ice by Moser. Long lead pass ahead for Andreas Martinson. And the teams are back to even strength. Not a lot doing on that power play for Norway. Glauser. Cross to Moser with a breakout year for the Arizona Coyotes this year. Michael Fora plays for Davos in the Swiss League. There's a town I haven't been to.
What?
I've not been to Davos. Dying to go. Hosted the Spengler Cup every year.
I find that so hard to. They never hosted a junior tournament, the World Juniors?
No, Geneva was in Switzerland. It was the only one they've ever hosted.
They changed that.
Working on it. The World Championship will be in Switzerland in 2026. In Zurich and Freiburg. That plays offside at the Swiss line. 4:48 to go in the first. The Swiss a 1-0 lead on Norway. Riga has been a busy place the last couple of days. 3 games yesterday, 3 today. Even morning skates held here.
That's the part I don't understand. I have to say, 3rd game yesterday, ice held up really well. On a warm day where there was a big crowd, and the ice held up just fine. Today's a challenging day, though. 6 games in 2 days. The fact that they put anyone on the ice before the noon start local, when there's another rink available,
yeah,
it's surprising.
Czechia had their morning skate here. There's off-day practices for some teams that weren't playing today as well.
Now, the good news is, after today, there's a run of consecutive days, 6-7 days, where it's just 2 games. Just 2.
Just the double headers. Miranda plays that rink wide for Haas. That was knocked away by Granat. Philip Granat plays in Finland for Tampere. What a year they had.
They won everything.
Won the Finnish League, won the Champions League, had the best regular season record in Finland. Oh yeah, and their rink is going to be host of the World Championship for the 2nd straight year, which the Finns won in that building last year.
But that rink actually hosts 2 Finnish teams.
Ilves Tampere is also playing out of there. Ambil comes in, but the play's offside at the Norwegian line.
So Switzerland keeping the pace up. And the one thing that Switzerland also has, as they've gotten better, is more depth. They have more players that can play well.
Sure.
And they don't have a drop-off in their 3rd or 4th line. They have lots of skill there. They always had pace and defense, but now they have skill as well that they can continue against a team like Norway who can be competitive. They can press for long stretches.
Well, you look back at Swiss national teams in the 80s and 90s, a lot of the players were Canadians who became naturalized Swiss. The Swiss team bus would pull up and they'd be like, say hi to my folks in the Sioux. No more of that. Pass for Ambil walking in. Little backhand shot, just missed on that. Ambil, the all-time leader in games played and tournaments played at the World Championship, broke that record last year. A Swiss legend, longtime captain of HC Davos.
Still can get around the ice at his age. Coming up on 40 soon.
That pass goes back to the point, fired home by Janis Moser, and it's 2-0 Switzerland. Moser has goals in both games for the Swiss.
Another play out from the goal line into, this time, the high slot where Moser is waiting on it, but a really nice saucer pass. Puck stays alive, comes back around the net one more time. Malgin handles it, and that is a nice sauce. That is pass. Bjorkvid home. Oh, look at that. That is a great, that is a deep dish sauce. That is perfectly flat through the air and landed soft for Moser to step into it clean, go far side. That is a beauty look at that saucer pass from Dennis Malgin.
So Moser, 22-year-old, played all 82 for Arizona this year at 31 points, including 7 goals.
Thinking about a challenge on an offside, perhaps?
I wonder, 2nd-round pick of Arizona in 2021. So this is the handy part of the coach, Johansson, having the earpiece in.
Looks like he's going with the crease violation, semicircle motion with his
Is he
hand.
challenging goalie interference?
Yeah, that's what the hand signal was suggesting.
So they are challenging goalie interference. Okay, so
They didn't sense a lot of problems around the front of the net, but you're not going to want to waste one. But at the same time, you get into a situation as a coach. Game's getting away from you. Shots are 12-1. You know it's going to be hard to score 3 or more to come back in the game. So, yes, high percentage, low percentage, whatever it might be, if you think you have a 30-40% chance of winning it, you might as well take it. Okay, so here comes, oh, does Ambil skate touch Arntson's foot? Watch his left skate as he's trying to get out of here. Yep, that's goal interference. That's a great decision. He wasn't really shoved in there, kind of went in there on his own.
The only thing I would ask is, did it?
It did, because it didn't let his body move naturally to his left. Kind of stubs him.
Yeah.
right? Stubs his momentum, spins him.
And the puck goes in that side.
And now he's off kilter. That's good. That's a good challenge. That will be no goal. We've made our decision. Now, if Amuel had been shoved heavily into the crease, then that would not be his responsibility.
So the IIHF has the different crease rule than the NHL. You have to leave the crease or they blow it dead, but the goalie interference standard is the same. And here's the call from referees Liam Sewell and Jan Ribik.
After video review, call on the ice is overturned. It was interference to the goalie. He has no goal.
All right, so the goal is taken off the board, and the Norwegian assistant coaches are high-fiving next to us, their video coach.
Well, that's their job. That's a good job. Back to the boys in the booth. You got to put, you have to identify it. You have to articulate it quickly, and then tell them what to do.
And of course, the coach, Tobias Johansson, wears the earpiece, so you're talking directly to him.
So it's not enough to just say, take a look at it. You probably have to say, no, challenge this one. We're good.
All right, so it remains a 1-0 game. That's a huge break for Norway. Shots are 11-1 in favor of the Swiss. Broadstall with it. It's crunched in the corner by Corby. Picked up by Herzog. Herzog centers it. That shot hammered wide by Fora. Niederreiter down to Corby. Corby back for Fora. Corby holds, waits, slides that back to Loeffel, shoots at the fucking wide. There was lots of traffic in front. Someone's playing without a glove. It's Max Krogdahl.
It's a yard sale out there.
That would be an uncomfortable feeling.
And when the games get intense enough, if you see a gloveless hand, you don't have to keep playing that way. Go with your glove on and you won't get slashed.
Vikingstad plays that back in the corner. Liljeberg. First pass up there for Bernd Paulsen. But Marty races back to pick it up for the Swiss. They have moved the puck well here this afternoon.
Very crisply. But the puck movement only works when the body movement goes along with it. So they're skating well, running their routes.
There's Berchi with a shot that goes wide.
Getting open. That's when the passing looks clean and crisp, as it has.
And Richard reaching for it. Now Berchi works it free for Malgin. Dennis Malgin. Well, what a move. Gonna take up again?
You better trust you can catch the little Granath if he pokes it off you.
Oh, cold shoulder from Richard. Knocked down Matthias Norstabo. A shot the goal post.
And how lucky was that it sat right?
Bounced right back into Arnson.
There was a Swiss forward ready to tuck it in the empty net if it falls anywhere. After all this possession, Miranda in front. Arnson looking left, puck goes right. If this puck falls behind him anywhere, Arnson's right there. He's just behind him. I got it. No. Look what Marty's looking at. Almost placing that one down there, just getting it by the first shot blocker. Great look. He rings the iron.
Final minute now, the opening period. That pass by Johannesson missed, an icing called against Norway.
It's been an impressive period for Switzerland.
You got to say, if you're Norway, you get out of here down 1-0.
Yes.
That's a gift.
Catch your breath. Be thankful that it's only one. You can't imagine the next two periods being dominated the same way. It's got to get better for you going forward. Has to. Can't not.
Face off won by Trentinez with the clearing attempt. Stolen by Miranda. Trentinez back with it with Olden, but back comes Miranda to take that away. Glauser for Simeon. Back from Miranda, tips that back in front, they score! Lauser got the last touch, and the Swiss have won to make it 2-0.
Right after you said that they could get out 1-0. They're not going to. As the wave after wave of Swiss attack continues, and Lauser, a defenseman, he doesn't slow down on the blue line. He just keeps moving forward. Takes a little drop pass from Miranda, gets to it first, chips it up right under the bar. It's a good finish. Open the blade up, slide underneath it, get to it first. Don't have to hit it hard, just got to get it up.
Lauser
right in the top corner.
Played his first World Championship last year at the age of 26. Got his first goal as a member of the Swiss men's national team. Played the World Junior in 2016 for Switzerland.
I saw him just grabbing that puck.
Yeah.
It's a chip puck.
Plays in Lausanne in the Swiss League, which is I can tell you firsthand, a beautiful place.
I've been there. It's lovely.
Perfect, see? If you were to call Central Casting and say, give me a typical Swiss town.
Idyllic Swiss town at the base of a mountain around a lake.
Yeah, he loves that.
Battle going on between Hoff and Niederreiter right now. Niederreiter, they're not calling any penalties on it.
So the Swiss get 2 and 1 disallowed. And they continue to storm along. They've outscored the opposition 9-0 so far through 4 periods at the World Hockey Championship.
Shots on goal in the first period. Team Switzerland 12, Team Norway 1.
Nino, good game. Patrick, good game. Oh.
Here we go, boys. Have some fun. Red down first, please. Thank you very much. Loose! Loose! That away, boys. Good job here.
$59. Move the back! Move the back! Hey! Move the back, no players! Move the back! Stop! It's between the legs!
Yep.
It was interference to the goalie. He has no goal.
We are using chip gate pucks. If a puck flies to the stand, please return it to the closest steward. You will receive an official gate puck in return. Thank you for your cooperation.
Jonas Arntzen in goal for Norway, allowed 2 goals on 12 shots. Had another one disallowed for goalie interference. At the other end, Robert Meyer, who played in the overtime loss for Switzerland against Norway back in 2016.
That's a great stat line for a period.
Yeah, 1 shot. I'm trying to remember it.
Not sure I can't even. Impressive performance. And you mentioned that late goal for Norway just swings the outlook of this game completely. Switzerland feels they deserved at least that much after a solid first period.
Switzerland, one of the founding countries of the IIHF, has never won a gold medal in the tournament.
You have to go first stick.
And there are rumbles here that Kevin Fiala will indeed be joining the Swiss. So along with Nico Hischier and Jonas Siegenthaler at Kevin Fiala.
That's huge. We haven't seen Thurkoff, who left the game early after crashing the boards, return, so they might need some forwards. Down a body.
Niederreiter rings it around for Kukan. Banks it back to Corby. Here's Nino Niederreiter. Standing to the end boards, and it's picked out by Haga. And with Granat, that pass is picked off. Marty for Corby, swings it ahead to Niederreiter. In on Johannesson, shoots from a sharp angle. And the stop made by Arntzen.
Switzerland had the puck in the offensive zone an awful lot, and eventually they found some holes in that defensive system. There goes Simeon in the high slot to open the scoring. Then late in the period, Glauser joins the rush, stays with it all the way to the front of the net. Chips it in for his first ever goal with the men's senior team.
So the pucks have tracking chips in them, so if a fan catches one, they have to exchange it for a regular puck, but players can ask in some circumstances to have a souvenir puck. That puck flutters down to Arntzen.
They'll be in trouble next year when Poland gets up and you got a whole bunch of guys who haven't scored many goals here. Every goal they'll be grabbing pucks.
Poland and Great Britain promoted from Division 1A this year. The bottom 2 teams in this year's tournament will be relegated. And that is a devastating outcome for a program. To get knocked down is because, especially in a country where you're competing for young athletes, where you need to show a path. So, for example, in Switzerland, There are excellent paths now to pro hockey for good young players. Not just the Swiss Pro League, which is excellent, but the NHL is realistic for elite Swiss players. But if your junior team gets demoted, gets relegated, if your men's national team does, you don't qualify for the Olympics very much, it's very tough to get a foothold. Norway turns out great athletes, is probably the greatest Winter Olympic country in the world per capita. As Moser comes in, they all do it on cross-country skis. Glauser shoots, that got through, and Arntzen made the stop.
Good work by Malgin, creating some time and space. Glauser looking for another. Getting greedy now, he's got one, looking for two. And Malgin, it's interesting watching him and Tretnes, two very good skaters, try to play each other one-on-one high in the offensive zone. And Malgin just plays internationally that much more confidence. We watched him play with Toronto in the NHL this year a lot, Colorado as well, and he's got to be aggressive offensively to be his best.
Right. Mora plays that rink wide to Haas. Oh, nifty move, walks right in, shoots. Save made by Arntzen. Out at center ice, poked away by Loeffel. Speaking of additions, we expect that Slovakia will add Simon Nemec, the second overall pick in last year's draft, to their lineup. As Simeon works in, shoots at the flex high off the glass and out. Nemec had a terrific year in the American League this year, so that would bolster a Slovak team that will play Canada tomorrow.
Pretty nice for them. It's pretty nice for Gaetan Haas here. Sell the shot.
Oof.
Get the guy to stand upright to try to block it. Kazastool bites. He dances right around him. Just fans on the attempt at the net while trying to elevate. Loves the move. Doesn't like the finish.
Haas spent a couple of years in the NHL with Edmonton after the Oilers signed him as a free agent in 2019. Kicked out of the face-off by Berchi. Crossing goes to Kukan, to Marty. Marty shoots, and the stop is made. Arntzen's got it after it skipped around the crease for a moment.
Switzerland is taking what Norway is giving them. If they're going to give you room at the point, go to the top of the offensive zone, use that. Find your time and space there, and then eventually get it down towards the net. It's really been not a lot to complain about for Patrick Fischer so far this afternoon.
The shots in the game are 16-1. So if the Swiss were playing on a goaltender, they would still be winning.
That's not fair. They would shoot for the empty net more. And make it 17. Patrick Fischer knows there's a lot of expectation, a lot of pressure in Switzerland.
It's very different now. It's very different for their national program now. They really felt, Mike, and you know, you can say it's, you know, they're biased, but they really felt that if NHL players have gone to the Olympics, they like their chances for a medal. With Yossi on defense,
yeah,
some of the forwards, they like their domestic goalies.
I mean, they would have a chance. They would be the, after Sweden and Finland and Canada and the US, they'd be the next team, especially if Russia wasn't allowed to play. They would be 5th or 6th, depending who's participating.
Germany would be in that mix as well.
Yeah, they're probably better in Germany with all their best players, although Germany's got some Stutzle and Draisaitl alone are star players in the NHL.
That'd be an interesting game. Switzerland, Germany, best on best.
Who's playing a net?
For Germany?
I guess Grubauer now.
Yeah, Grubauer. You wouldn't have said that a year ago, but yeah. Granlund plays it back to center ice, scooped up there by Glauser.
Well, let's hope we get to find out next Olympics.
Niederreiter works it free. Still 3 years away. It'll be more than a decade for a decade without best on best talk. If you count the World Cup in 2016.
Start thinking about Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, Jack Eichel, these great players, Nate McKinnon, who have yet to play in the Olympics, representing even the World Cup. They had to play for the young gun team. So
Connor McDavid, 29 when he makes his Olympic debut.
He's 30 when he plays best on best for the first time for Canada.
Here comes Ambuel. Andres Ambuel. Back to Loeffel. Ambuel picks the tree, throws it back in front, skipping puck. Ambuel got hit with a high stick there.
Yeah, we got
from Casastul. I think they got that.
The back ref, Jan Rybik from Czechia.
Dude's a legend. He can't high stick him.
40 or 39 years old. Gotta keep your sticks down. So Casastul is going to get the gate in the scrum here. A little shove from behind from Ambuel, and it's well after the play's covered. It's just carelessness.
Combed him.
For Casastul. And so Switzerland and their potent power play from the first game, which went 4 for 6. It's another attempt.
This is their first power play opportunity in this game. It runs through Malgin. He's not there at the moment. He's on the first unit. Ambuel stays out. Here's Enzo Corvi. Runs on ahead, tapped across by Moser. That shot taken by Loeffel was blocked.
Set play off the faceoff. Pop to the middle, activate the defenseman for a little one-touch slide pass. Creative stuff.
Corvi back across to Loeffel. Looks around Krogdahl. Moser back across to Corvi. Corvi flips it back in front for Miranda. And the stop is made by Arntzen. 2 good chances for Switzerland early in this power play.
So that last Miranda chance is a situation in which we often see players go through their legs, and this is why. He handles this puck, he's going to try to spin, pivot, and go up on Arntzen. When he goes in front of himself, he's so tight to Arntzen, there's no angle to elevate it over the glove and into the net. You go over the glove, you're going to go over the net.
So you're saying the Matthew Tkachuk move?
The math behind the Matthew Tkachuk move makes sense. You pull it further away from the goaltender, you expose more of the net and more of an angle.
Big boys are out there now for Switzerland on this power play. Malgin, Niederreiter. Running by Hoff, short-handed, shoots. That's kicked out by Mayer.
There it is.
Mayer with his first stop of the period. Pretty good one, actually.
Keeps those groins warmed up.
Haas walks right in.
That's a bit of a hook in the hand.
This was Niederreiter. Feeds it back down to Haas. Haas to Kukan. Back across to Malgin. With that wide blade in his stick. Once you point it out, Mike, it really is noticeable.
Yeah, can't miss it now.
Malgin back down to Kukan. Teed up and hammered in front by Haas. Rebound put wide by Niederreiter. And Norway clears it back down. Meyer quickly ahead to Haas as Norway's changing. 30 seconds to go in the Swiss power play. Gets it back out by Vikingstad. Chipped ahead by Corvi for Loeffel. Loeffel looks ahead for Malgin that was poked away by Arntzen. Reaches out with the blade of his stick to take that away.
He is active with the stick. From behind the net, he likes to turn it over.
So Norway survives the first Swiss power play of the game. In comes Tanner Richard. Trying to thread that ahead. Corvi got spun around. Played back in by Geiser.
I haven't seen as much of Richard. Durkhoff, his winger, went out, so the natural rotation has him grabbing extra guys with Berchi.
Casastul fires that wide. Here's Martinson on it. NHL player for Colorado and Montreal. That's a put for Chicago a little bit. Tretinez works in. Flora rides him off the puck. Now played back. Pogo with a shot that goes wide. Bouncing puck. Olden can't connect. Olden had a great chance late in overtime against Kazakhstan. Didn't connect and they lost the shootout. That shot deflects wide. Olam on it. So Norway with 1 point through the first couple of days. Granat back with it. He watched there by Fora. Granat slides that back, and Miranda was almost off to the races. Corby taken down, penalty coming. It's going to go to Switzerland though, as it's touched up by Berchi. And Norway down 2 is going to the power play. Tobias Geiser is called for hooking, so Norway goes to the power play for the second time in the game. Not mustered up much in their first, but a chance to get back in this thing.
Hanging around. You get one and you're right back in the game.
They scored 2 power play goals yesterday against much different opposition. By the way, in Tampere, 2-2 France and Denmark. The French have scored twice in less than 3 minutes to tie the game up.
And the French won their first game in overtime.
Yes.
So any points out of this game, they're set.
They beat Austria in overtime.
Hungary is in the recently promoted team.
Yeah.
So
if they were to take points off Austria and Denmark in their opening weekend, they would be very happy with that. Alex Texier is playing for the French.
Yeah, it's good to see him back playing.
Yeah.
He's back home to work through some off-ice stuff.
Olsen plays it in. Knocked down by Cook and stolen back by Olsen. Played back now. Johannesson with a shot that's punched away by Meyer. Olsen, Johannesson. Back to Olsen, shoots. Meyer save, rebound, loose in front. Johannesson plays it across. Olden fires. Meyer the save. Olsen back with it. Some good looks here for Norway on the power play. Kukan slides it back down the ice.
Smart to get a shooting mentality for Norway. Any shot, best way to break down the structure of a penalty kill is chasing down rebounds. Other side, there it is.
Well, not. And then taken away by Herzog, and now Haga back to pick it up. 35 seconds to go in the Norwegian power play. Tretinez sweeps it back down to the Swiss zone. Tretinez plays it back around. Denmark's regained the lead, by the way, against France. Boy, they're scoring in bunches there. Tretinez. Tied up by Glauser. Tretinez shovels that back to Haga. Haga. These guys who steps back on, flips that back door for Olam, and the pass was blocked by Moser. Brought back up by Geiser, but Haga takes it away.
Back door was wide open if Moser doesn't get that pass. Stretched out like a goaltender, take it away.
Hagen moves in and shoots. It's off a stick, up and out of play.
Norway creeping back into this period. Shots are 7-6 in this period. Much more even. Jonas Johansson will be pleased with the reaction after the first of his team. He's got to find a way to punch one over the line. The pace that Switzerland was checking at was going to be hard to sustain.
Right.
At some point, you're going to have a lull in how well you're taking space away.
Foro throws up towards the goal. Doesn't have quite the flow he had last year. It was.
He's still got a little something kicking out the back there.
It was right over the name bar last year. Right down to the top of the numbers.
Makes it easy to identify who he is out there.
Very easy.
Foro up.
There is Nino Niederreiter, the 5th overall pick in the 2010 NHL draft for the New York Islanders. He was traded to Minnesota for Cal Clutterbuck.
Another Swiss player that went over to play in the CHL before he was drafted, a couple years in Portland.
He's the good luck charm for Switzerland in this tournament. They've won silver medals in 2013 and 2018. He's been a member of both teams.
What about the other 5 times he's played?
We can't always.
Well, I mean, if you're a good luck charm, you're a good luck charm. You can't be a sometime good luck charm. Or maybe he's just a good player that helps their cause.
There probably is that. It's more of a causation maybe than
a correlation causation conversation.
Yes. Martinson pokes out ahead. Berchi.
Often wondered for European players who play in North America, if you were going to spend some time back home in Europe at the end of the year, it's a nice little segue into that time.
Yeah, you come this way anyway.
You come, you play for a couple weeks, then you go to your home country for a bit and get your vacation in before you get back to your training. Seemed to make sense to me.
Geiser slides that back down. Liljeberg spins back. Poked there by Simeon. Pretty hit for the puck, and now it's flipped out by Kostestuhl. That shot up high on Meyer from Martinson, and he hangs on to that for a faceoff. 9:07 to go in the second period. Switzerland leads 2-0.
They support their teams passionately.
You come here, you have a great time.
Yeah, it's really something. You talk to some of the fans around, and it's like their vacation. They come in a different country every year.
Yeah. You know, the hope for Norwegians would be maybe a quarterfinal spot. Ghana has it knocked away.
It'll probably be a nice early, stress-free, non-relegation on the docket would be pretty good.
Yeah, they'd take that. The World Championship was in Halifax and Quebec City in 08, and a bunch of German fans came over, and Germany did not have a good tournament. And they kind of turned on Coach Uwe Krupp, who then suggested that there were 2 flights a day going back to Germany if they didn't like it. And it really went sideways after that.
That's one way to get him in your corner. It's a unique skill that, depending on where you are in the tournament, the ability to handle tough games,
right,
bad losses,
right,
blowouts. And if you're Hungary or Slovenia, you know that not every game's going to go well. You got to hang in there, keep your confidence, stay positive until the game where you do have a chance.
So, you know, Denmark, we've talked about where they came to that. I mean, at the World Junior, they'd lose some, they'd take some unholy beatings in that thing, but then they'd win the game they had to win to stay out of the relegation. And that's a successful tournament.
Right.
In a 10-team tournament, you know, against much larger countries, way larger countries.
And that's not to suggest for a second that the competitive fires aren't burning and it doesn't drive them crazy, but it doesn't stay with them for the whole week because they lost the first 3 games 17-3. Because they know they have that one big game coming up that they have to win.
You know, the difference would be in other sports, for example, if you get blown out by Novak Djokovic in tennis, well, you don't have to play the next day.
Right, right. But if you're a qualifier who gets Djokovic in the first round of a major, you're like, still got a pretty good payday.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, you have to have reasonable expectations. And I think I've always admired, you know, a Norway, a Denmark.
Danes are pretty good. You know, I mean, they've been regulars in the top division here. Qualified for the Olympics for the first time, as we mentioned. Michael Fora. Spent a year with Kamloops in the Western League. Fired that down, nicely called. There's that flow. See, it's much shorter than last year.
Well, he's thinned it out a little bit too. So much thicker back last year. Probably 3 pounds lighter, just by dropping something extra. Weight up top.
You need one of those suits. You need a Swiss flag suit. You do.
I'll see. One of these tournaments are coming up in Switzerland anytime soon. 3 years, I'm sure they'll be for sale.
I've already got the white running shoes to go with it, so.
They're not running shoes.
Oh, sorry.
Street sneakers.
Street sneakers. My apologies. Fettinez backhand shot stopped by Meyer. Yeah, you wouldn't dare run in those things, would you?
No, not a lot of support here.
Fora. I'm over 50. I'm not sure I should be wearing the white street sneakers.
I'm not far from 50.
You have a decision to make.
Well, high stick coming up to the aforementioned Fora.
Yeah, he's going to get that. He has taken some undisciplined stick penalties in these tournaments.
He does swing it around high as he pivots. It's a bad habit. Gets up around his waist and it caroms up around people's heads. And Switzerland's level has dropped considerably as Norway's has risen up. There it is. Now, some of it, of course, is Salston lifting it into his own face, but still. It counts, and Norway is pressing. Best 4 or 5 minutes they've had so far in the game. Another power play. Now they have a chance to get a feel for what the penalty kill for Switzerland is doing. Trying to get one on the board here. Haga had 2 in the first game on the power play. They can't find him for a one-timer.
They had some looks in that power play.
It's been much, much better.
Here's Kukan with it. High off the glass, past Haga, back down. Swiss were short-handed twice in their game against Slovenia. Did not allow a power play goal. Haga. Fired around his granite with it.
Good stick
Olin
by
has it taken away.
Richard there on the poke, and then it cleared out to Berchi.
Riga slides it ahead to Olam, takes the return pass, a little too far for him. Haas backhands it back down. And Sentler comes in on the forecheck, causing Olam all kinds of problems. Here's Ken-Andre Olam. Playing in his 12th World Championship. Is also a two-time Olympian for Norway. And fired back down the ice. Sentler goes after it. Swooped up by Johannesson. Olsen taken down there by Herzog. Penalty coming to Switzerland. A trip is going to be called.
Is that on Herzog? Because
That's
if it is,
a very late call.
That is 4 seconds after the infraction happened. Not to suggest that that's not a tripping penalty. It is. Herzog gets his stick underneath the skate and takes down the player. So 5-on-3 for 30 seconds. Huge opportunity.
So here's the door wide open for Norway.
It seemed like everyone did a quick shoulder check when he first went down and nobody saw a hand up initially. Face-off pivotal. Erik Salston has to dig in, get this one right away because a clear almost ends the 5-on-3. Richard pulling it back to the middle. Moser's got to be on his toes. Oh, great touch. What a smart touch. Instead of just hammering it up the boards, saw the open man, made the pass for the clear.
5 to go here in the second period. Olsen on the 5-on-3 that has now 10 seconds remaining. Salston trying to work that free up the long side. Moser sends it back down. Thor comes back on. Still a minute and a half of power play time for Norway.
That's a wasted 5-on-3 there. Absolutely nothing going on.
Meantime, Isaac Hansen remains on the Norwegian bench.
Still hasn't played a second in the tournament?
He's not played 1 second, but he has a shootout attempt. That's got to be some kind of record for the fewest minutes played for someone who took an attempt in the shootout.
Yeah, almost too many men for Switzerland.
He's into 5 periods now and an overtime without playing.
Well, now I want Norway to go to the shootout again to see if he goes again. He probably wants to go to the shootout so he can get on the ice. As Patrick Fisher has given his penalty killers a workout. 3 straight minors in the second period. 4 total through 2 for Switzerland and Tobias Johansson. Hasn't seen much out of his power play last couple. Still 45 seconds here. Herzog's tripping penalty.
France is tied up again against Denmark. It's 3-3.
Great to see that. It's great to see the France having success, winning games, scoring goals.
France over the years has turned out good players. I mean,
the goalie in Montreal, Cristobal Huet, was
Pierre Belmar's been in the league for a decade. Alex Texier is a good player. Antoine Roussel has been a stone in people's shoes for a long time. Madison shoots. That's kicked out by Meyer. Cleared back down by the Swiss. Lead pass to Salston. So the Swiss survive a long time shorthanded, including a long 5-on-3. Malgin sweeps that back to Loeffel. Moser to Loeffel. Back to Moser. Fans of that shot. Liljeberg pokes it out. Moser falls, and a chance now for the Norwegians. Liljeberg winds into the corner. Ran out of space there, and Malgin picks it up. Loeffel moves away from Haga. Winds through center ice. That's picked off. Liljeberg plays it back ahead for Granat. Rogdahl being watched there by Corby. Granat for Haga. In for Olam. And the captain moves in. His shot deflected wide. Fora out for Berchi. Lead pass for Niederreiter. He gets a step. In comes Niederreiter. Pivots back in the corner. Sifts through the traffic. Drops it back. Kukan leaned on that. And Arntzen made the save. Kassestuhl up for Olam. Across the Granat. Shoots. And Meyer makes the glove save and hangs on. 2-0. Switzerland leads here late in the second period. Atmosphere here in Riga on this Sunday afternoon, just coming up on 6 o'clock local time. Another game to come here tonight, Czechia and Kazakhstan. Tomorrow night the Czechs will play Latvia. A game that Latvia's got to get a result from, you'd think.
If they have any plans of playing in a quarterfinal, which is looking tough right now.
Berchi for Corby, who sweeps that back down. Back goes Kukan. Swung around by Olden. And away comes Simeon. And along with Haas, Simeon. Works that free, drops it back. Now Glauser steps up. Cold shoulder to Ludwig Hoff there, just sent him flying. In the final minute now of the second period. Miranda was spun around.
And here the guys wanting calls on the ice.
Well, the Swiss are famous for that. The Swiss do it a lot, right?
It rubs me the wrong way. Everyone, every time someone gets knocked down, everyone on the bench yells for a penalty. Sometimes they're penalties. Most of the time they're not. That was a referee would.
Well, eventually you got to think the referee's going to tune it out.
Yeah. Or they hold it against you. Stop yelling at me, because you're asking for. Oh boy.
Salston winds in, trying to slide that across. That shot goes off the side of the goal. Hoff got it back in front, but it's picked off by Malgin for Sentler, along with Ambule.
Hold.
Yeah, and a penalty coming this time in Norway. It'll be a holding call with 7 seconds to go in the second period.
It's good speed from Sentler right down the wall. Norstable loses, and you see the left hand reach out, hook onto it right in front of the official. Could not be any more clear. Yeah, Nedovitz gets a good look at it, makes the call. And so Switzerland, who's had but the one power play so far, will have 7 seconds. Now, we've seen them score, 11 seconds into the power play one time, so
yep.
We'll have to find something quickly.
They scored with 32 seconds to go in the first period. That was a tough goal for Norway to stomach. Norway out shooting Switzerland 12-8 here in the second.
Haas is going to pull this to the middle. Then Malgin's going to have to chip it to Kukan. There's a lot going on in 7 seconds. You think you'd have a lefty behind.
Simeon plays it back to Kukan. Back for Niederreiter, shoots. That was blocked by Liljeberg. And at the horn, Haas shot that. Gets some stink eye from the Norwegians, but there'll be 1 minute and 53 seconds of power play time to carry over into the third period. Switzerland 2-0 lead on Norway at the 2023 World Hockey Championships.
No! 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 Hey! Hey, let's relax!
Stop! Hey! Calm down. Good job.
Good hit! Good hit! Heads up! Heads up! Loose! Let's go! Easy! Easy! We're tied up here. We're tied up here.
Number 10, holding.
Ja, Norge! Hei, kom igjen! Ja, Norge! Der klarer vi! Ja! Kom igjen, Norge! Ja! Kom igjen, Norge! Dette klarer vi! De snur der! Dette blir bra! Ja! Der klarer vi! Ja! Der klarer vi!
Set for the third period here in Riga, Latvia. Marco Miranda has a couple of assists in the game as Switzerland has a 2-0 lead on Norway. And Norway will be shorthanded for the next minute and 53 seconds. Matthias Norstabo is off, so chance for Switzerland to add to the power play. It scored 4 power play goals yesterday.
All different kinds as well, different sets, different options. It's going to be a pivotal opening couple minutes for Jonas Arntzen and Norway. If they want to stay in this game, they can't give up one early. And Gerard Meyer, who had nothing to do in the first period, just 1 shot against in the first period, 11 in the second. He was sharp when called upon in the second half of the second period.
Norway lost yesterday.
Thank you.
Against Kazakhstan in overtime, led that game twice by 2 goals, but wound up losing in a shootout. Brought up by Malgin. Dennis Malgin slides it across to Simeon. Back for Malgin with a chance. It's poked away by Johannesson. Haas pokes that in the corner. And now moved out by Olam, but racing back was Niederreiter to defend and sweep that away from him. Chance in front. Trenton off the goalpost. Very close to a shorthanded goal there for Norway that would have turned things around. What a look that was. And Malgin was spilled there in the offensive zone. He looks back at the official.
Tretnes picks up a loose puck, a little sloppy by Switzerland in their own end. Bring it right over the glove of Meyer.
Ambul has it knocked away by Berg Paulsen and sent back down the ice. Norway has Slovenia Tuesday, then into a game against Latvia on Wednesday. We talked about the host nation has some leeway with the schedule. Latvia plays 5 straight games in the tournament where their opposition has played the day before.
But if you're Norway, you think you got to make hay early because their last 3 games are Czechia, Canada, Slovakia.
Right, their toughest 3 opponents, you'd think, based on form. Fora moves across the line, but the play is called offside.
That was one of those power plays. Remember we talked about power plays that straddle periods?
Yeah.
That was an example of a power play and why they don't work. You're not really in the flow of the game.
Olam with the strip there, and Trenton
it's a great shot. It's Meyer clean. Olam strong on the puck. Right? Yeah, to the side of the glove, not under it, just to the side of it. Meyer's got that glove upright by his ear almost, not really out away protecting the corner.
Perchi gets his pass back and shoots. Arntzen knocked that away.
It's a lot easier to just go out and skate fast and shoot pucks down the ice than it is to make skill plays when you've been coming out after a period.
Perchi centers it, knocked away by Oldham. One more game to come in this rink tonight. Czechia and Kazakhstan. Look at
that aggressive.
Meyer way out to play that. In Tampere, Sweden will play Austria. Still 3-3 there now between France and Denmark.
Denmark has visions of the 4th quarterfinal spot over there. Sweden, Finland, US, and somebody else. Germany, Denmark would be the 2 likely candidates, although France with a win yesterday could throw their name in the hat if they were able to get a win right now.
But another case where, you know, that win was in overtime. They probably would have penciled in a 3-point win over Austria when the tournament started. Lauser in, shoots. That was stopped by Arntzen. Wasn't sure where the rebound was. Hagel moves that back to center, picked off by Glauser. Kicked away by Kassestuhl. Malgin. Slides that back to Glauser. Sentler picks it up.
He's a nice skater.
Yeah, playing in his first major international tournament for the Swiss. He's played his entire career in Switzerland. He's 30. That's not uncommon. You know, you get a lot of countries where players play all over the Norwegians play all over the place, but for the Swiss, a lot of these guys spend their entire career, no more than this guy, Anders Ambiol, who did spend a year in North America. Played for Hartford, the American League.
And their penalty coming up to Norway.
Yeah, Liljeberg is going to go for a hold.
So the penalty's starting to pile up in this game. Well, the power plays haven't looked very good. Liljeberg gets called for a hold. There's Ambiol. Got to keep your feet moving, and yeah, it's a hold. You got his arm hooked around yours, and you haven't stopped him from moving. If you're standing still, hooked up like that, you're not going to get called. But if he's still moving, trying to get away from you, then you're going to get that call against you more often than not. And so Switzerland, who looked unstoppable yesterday on the power play.
Right.
Their third power play of this game. They haven't really looked particularly dangerous in either one of the first two.
Here's Kukan with it. Top unit out there. Kukan plays it across to Malgin. Malgin for Haas. Kukan to Malgin. Simeon parked in front. Niederreiter sliding through in the high slot now. Malgin. Kukan to Haas. Eitan Haas trying to slide that back. Now it bumps back to Niederreiter. Kukan for Malgin. As he goes to Haas, that pass knocked good by Tretinez, goes back in the corner.
Nice feed.
Niederreiter slides it across. Norway keeping a close eye on Malgin for the one-timer. Here he is. Bumps it back in front for Simeon. That's picked up. And Krogall sends it out.
That's the one you wish you had Niederreiter in the middle there for a one-timer. And Simeon a righty who had to catch it.
Inside a minute to go in this power play. Corby has a skip away. Here's Ambiol with it. Ambiol flips it ahead, is knocked down the ice. Remember seeing Norway years ago when Zuccarello was playing for them in the World Championship, and the Norwegians were saying this guy's one of the best players we've ever produced. They thought he could play in the NHL. He was that good, and you look at him, how small he was, and guess what? He's terrific. Ambiol plays that back. Hard shot by Moser, deflects wide. He was one of Henrik Lundqvist's favorite teammates with the Rangers.
They held a co-charity game.
Tretinez moves it and shoots, that deflects wide.
Years ago together, they drew like 40,000 people to a football stadium.
Yeah.
In the summer. Always a great compliment for players. Other star players all want to play with Zuccarello.
Right.
He makes their life easy.
Little room service.
Just tee it up for me, I'll knock him home.
Icing called against Switzerland here.
This game is kind of grinded down, which is fine with Norway, given the way the first 20 minutes were played, where it was Switzerland dominating in every category. And Norway's shrunk the game down to the last 13.5 minutes. Now if they can just find a way to get more past the goaltender. Switzerland has not been scored on yet in this tournament.
Liljeberg down to Olden. And Richard knocks that back. Richard from Markham, Ontario. Played for Guelph in the OHL. Was drafted in the 3rd round by Tampa back in 2012. Verci with it. Andreas Martinson. Eric Salston. And Salton bumps that down right in the stick of Meyer, who plays it right back to center ice.
He's not shy about playing the puck at all.
Pretty aggressive, isn't he?
That's something you always see from Swiss goaltenders.
He spent 5 years in the American League. Ambuel moves in. Andres Ambuel, the all-time leader in games played in this tournament, down to Malgin. Malgin back with it. Has a look and shoots. Bouncing puck in front. Ambuel couldn't quite reach it. Kukan stops it back. Malgin unloads, and that was blocked by Olsen. I don't know why you don't think a smaller guy can really shoot it, but there's probably no reason he couldn't. But Malgin can really wire it.
No, it's different now with the technology. You don't have to be heavy to flex a stick. Back when they were wooden, generally all the same stiffness. It's a lot harder to flex a stick that way, but no, you can be thin. Who won the hardest shot this past year? Also, wasn't it Elias Pettersson? Yeah. As wiry as they come.
2-0 Switzerland leads here in the third. Goes off. Nice sticking the call to Jonas Moser. Norway had a great chance late in the second period. A long power play, including some 5-on-3 time, did not connect.
Didn't really even threaten.
Right.
They had a power play that was clicking. They scored 2 in the first game.
Haga shoots. That's blocked. Norstabo lays it down to Trentinez. Norstabo. Haga with it. Moves back to Olam. Teed up for Norstabo. Back across. Haga shoots. That was blocked in front by Marty.
I'll tell you what. Christian Marty does a good job getting in the way. He's very rangy. Just finds a way to clog lanes, block shots.
Big guy, 6'3". Played in the American League for a bit. Played for Blainville in the Quebec League. As they bring in an offside. Ooh, there's a fine. Offside on the power play. Icing on the power play is bad too.
Yeah. They had something going there on the far blue line as well. Now, it was last year in the tournament, Norway only scored 4 power play goals the entire tournament.
Right.
Unfortunately, the group today looks a lot more like last year's group than last game's group, which managed to score 2 in the game. A lot of credit goes to Switzerland. They press hard. They do a good job.
Holden. And across the line, plays that back. Meyer got a stick on that. Eric Salston had it knocked away, and it's poked down the ice by Sentler. Played in by Olsen. Back around to Salston. 30 seconds to go on this power play. Olden back on it. Martinson couldn't reach it. Now got it back up in the corner for Olden. Sondre Olden to Martinson. Sends it back in. Eric Salston couldn't get a shot away. Johannesson back around. Olsen shoots. That's the fucking just wide. Olden. And the corner. Final second of his power play now. And that pass broken up by Herzog. Paris Herzog bearing in as Moser steps back on. Herzog plays it back around. Haga has it back. And Haga winds out. Costa Stewart. Awful got a stick on that. Yeah, that chips it back around. Berchi gathers up the rolling puck, but has to pivot back and now finds Corby with it. Enzo Corby slides that pass ahead for Berchi, moving it with Niederreiter. Here's Niederreiter in behind the goal. Nino Niederreiter, who scored one of the biggest international goals in Switzerland's history at the World Junior Championship, the overtime winner in 2010 in the quarterfinals against Russia. It took a year to get credit for the goal. They actually gave it to someone else.
Oh, this was one of your pet projects.
I lobbied for a year because it was he deflected a point shot. He clearly touched it, and they wouldn't give him credit. And back then, once they
logged it as a goal, they didn't change it.
It was etched in granite. Lauser shoots. But
I'm proud of you, Gord.
Much like you, like a dog on a bone for assists.
That's it.
I fight for goals.
Make sure the worthy recipient of a milestone goal.
It's a big goal. I mean, you know, the Swiss had not done much at that point. They were relegated a couple years earlier.
Maybe some of my goals in the NHL, some of your pet projects. Could have used a little help.
You need my help. You self-advocate very well.
No, you can't ever do that.
You shouldn't.
You don't. You never can.
That must be awful.
When you know you have it, you want to say something.
Miranda steals that, drops it back for Haas. Kept alive by Marty. And of course, before video, they kind of had to take your word for it.
Now it doesn't matter. They always get the right. Days later, it doesn't matter. They'll get the right goal scorer. That's going to be a glove pass.
Touched up by Johannesson, so play continues. Olden. Flips that back around. Marty goes back after it. Tretinez spun him around. Miranda kicked that back neatly for Richard, rather. Martinson trying to center it. Here's Kukan back with it. Ola. Got spun around. Corby back across to Kukan. Not so much in recent years, but there's lots of 2-0 and 2-1 score lines in Switzerland's hockey history. Beat Canada at the Olympics in 2006 by that score in Torino. That was their specialty. Keep it close, maybe get a power play goal, get good goaltending.
And lock it right down.
They would not take chances. But they're very different now.
Thankfully.
The rules are different too. You can't.
Well, the game is different.
Yeah, you can't hold people up like you did before. And also, taking the red line out made a big difference too.
Tougher to trap it up when you can stretch it out.
In comes Haas with a steal. Gaetan Haas works it. Rolling puck bounced off his stick. It's brought back by Berg Paulson. Berg Paulson shoots. It's off the stick of Glauser and wide. Ole Julian Bjorkvik Holm plays it in. Scored in that game against Kazakhstan yesterday. And that shot by Sentler goes off a stick, up and out of play. 2-0. Switzerland leads late in the third. 5:41 to go in the third period. France and Denmark are tied at 3 late in the third period. French led that game 2-0. Also 3-2. French fought back every time. The face-off in the Norwegian end. Off the draw, picked up by Johannesson. Long shooting, gloved by Meyer, and he hangs on.
So at this point, we're 5.5 minutes left. Norway's kept it tight. Now you got to push. Now you got to, if you want to get back in the game, you might have to take a risk, activate a defenseman, work down on a pinch, something.
They don't have a shot here in the third.
They went 1 shot in the first, 11 in the second, and maybe they get credit for that dump in that was going to go over the net as a shot. Maybe not.
They're pretty tight with that, but
probably wouldn't have gone in. I guess not.
Johannesson fires that down.
And if you're Switzerland, you're thinking this is about the perfect way to defend the lead.
Right.
They've drawn penalties. Now, Switzerland only has 1 shot of their own in this third period. So a big nothing burger of a period, which is what you want when you're winning 2-0.
I guess, yeah. Always think, though, you're successful playing one way as Tretnes gets that shot away. Then
right.
Why
get away from it? And Tretnes also, remember, rang the post.
Yes, right.
Which wouldn't count as a shot. There's another one into the logo on Meyer. Tretnes is one of the more explosive skaters for Norway. Plays in Finland. Grew up playing in Modo, famous Swedish program. He's been around some pretty high-end players, high-end programs.
Now a 2-on-1 for Switzerland. Miranda. For Haas shoots, and Arntzen makes the stop.
And there's the flip side, though. You start pinching to try to keep pucks alive, you're going to open yourselves up to odd man rush against. It's a little too slow developing, and the puck on the front foot. Miranda he's already got 2 assists. Gets it a little too far in front of Haas. You see him have to adjust his body, which takes more time to get his hips around it. Giving Arntzen time to close it down.
Puck looks in the corner for a moment. Moved ahead by Vikingstad. Haas picks it off. 4.5 to go in the third. And they're going to overtime in Tampere. Tied at 3.
France already won 1 in overtime.
Yeah. So that's already a problem for Denmark. Not winning in regulation would be a disappointment for them.
Well, now they have to beat Germany straight up or beat them in regulation, depending if they drop any other points to get 4th. If everything else holds true to form.
And again, it's a conversation we've had before about the National Hockey League, but if you went to 3 points for regulation win, it would change the dynamics of so many games, especially late in the year.
Strategy, all of it.
Mathematically, it wouldn't have that much difference in the standings. I mean, the standings would have been pretty much the same this year. Be a couple of tweaks, but just the approach to games late would be so different. If you're chasing a playoff spot, you need the 3-point win. There'd be way more urgency.
I think there might be a mental battle about if you're down 8 points out of a playoff spot in a 2-point game. If you're 13 or 14, which would be the equivalent in 3-point games, it feels further.
Yeah.
Even though you might not be mathematically.
Berchi drops it back. The problem is that the good teams would be, I mean, Boston would have been home and cooled out by November.
They would have had 200 points last year.
Rana fires it down. So 2:54 to go here, and you wonder if Norway's considering pulling the goaltender here. They've got some time to think about it. We're back after this. So 2:54 to go here, and indeed, Jonas Arntzen on the bench for Norway, so 6 skaters on 5 here. Might as well.
You need 2. No point in waiting. You've had a hard time getting possession in the offensive zone, so the idea that you might wait for possession, you might be waiting until tomorrow.
During that TV timeout, Tommy Albaline, the longtime NHL defender who's on the Swiss bench, was drawing it up for them. He only works the World Championship and the World Junior for the Swiss.
Just the big stuff.
Yep.
He's like you.
Oh, the goalpost! right off the iron.
130-foot far and out.
You could, if you gave him 10 pucks.
Not a chance.
And said, how many times did he get
No
that?
way.
Tretinez. Up for a grab. There's 4 with it. Tanner Richard slides it back out. Here's Berchi back in front for Niederreiter, scored.
It's very unselfish. Up there to close out the victory defensively. This lawful shot is unreal. Just bar high and clunk. Squared it up.
I'll tell you what, don't play that guy at posts.
Yeah, that's bad news there. And Berchi can throw this in himself if he wants, but he kicks it over to Niederreiter. Taps it home. Funny game for Switzerland to evaluate. Will love their first period. Perfect first period. Won't love their second, but third, they did enough to defend well. Will skate away with another win.
Yeah. Last year they went 6-0-1 in the preliminary round, lost in the quarterfinal of the United States.
And it feels the same right now. They've outscored their opponents 9-0 through 2 games.
And they've got help on the way. There's reports online that Kevin Fiala's on his way here along with Nico Hischier.
And Jonas Siegenthaler, who's no joke either. One of the better defensive defensemen in the entire NHL.
So Siegenthaler and Hischier from New Jersey, Fiala from LA are apparently on their way here. So they will not get goalie Akira Schmid from New Jersey, but they look to be pretty good in goal.
They haven't scored on 2 games, so be all right.
Simeon.
Back door.
Herzog looking in front for Corby.
And we haven't seen Thurkoff, Calvin Thurkoff, return to the game.
He's apparently been spotted in a sling after colliding with the end board. So
sounds like a shoulder separation or a collarbone or something.
Lawful to Marty, who plays it back in. A minute to go in the third period. Still ahead today, Czechia and Kazakhstan here. Sweden and Austria in Tampere. And Patrick Russell has scored for Denmark in overtime, so they take it 4-3. So Denmark gets 2 points, France gets 1.
France has 3 after 2 games, though. It's not so bad.
Yeah. Long cross-ice pass for Corby, or for Richard, rather. Tanner Richard drops that back to Kukan. Kukan shoots. It's punched out by Arnson.
I think it caught Niederreiter. He had a little grimace slouch after that one. Oh, sticks getting up with Martinson and Kukan. Be careful here. Someone's mouth guard's flying on the ice.
Krogdahl puts Richard in a headlock.
And you got Kazastool with Niederreiter.
And the long-standing Swiss-Norwegian feud flares up yet again.
Now, if they get in a fight, they miss the next game.
At least. If you actually threw punches, you'd probably get 2 to 3 games.
So, well, I get frustration, I get physicality, I get that there is fighting in a lot of places in the world in hockey. It's not really fighting in this tournament.
IIHF events, obviously fighting is an automatic game misconduct, but if you were to repeatedly throw punches at someone's head, you would get a multiple game suspension.
So it's not really worth it in a 7-game tournament to miss 3 games in a fight with 7.6 seconds left for anybody, Norway or Switzerland. The cooler heads will prevail here. Everything will match up. Kukan and Richard in the box for Switzerland. We got Krogdahl and Martinson in the box for Norway. Hopefully the paperwork can get done expeditiously and we can finish this game up. And there was nothing too aggressive there that's going to warrant any sort of look after the game by anybody.
Swiss fans will pile in the streets of Riga tonight. They're for Kazakhstan on Tuesday. So Krogdahl and Martinson are off for Norway, Richard and Kukan for Switzerland. Okay, so it's all roughing, nothing happened. 5-on-5.
It's like it never even occurred. That was Liam Sewell from Great Britain.
Yeah.
Which, you know, again, we talk about the players all the time. This is a tournament that referees aspire to work at.
And you have to work your way to get here. The under-18s, the World Junior, a lot of lower division, Division 1B, Division 1A, even lower than that.
Are we trying to get a goal here for Switzerland? Yeah. Niederreiter there in the one-timer spot with Lawful up on the hash marks.
Looks like it. Harvey wins the puck back. Salston.
Salston just shoot at Niederreiter. He wanted so bad. Wow. Sometimes I get a little spiteful.
Switzerland wins at 3-0. They're 2-0. Outscored the opposition 10-0 so far in the tournament. Norway drops to 1 regulation loss and a shootout loss with a 3-0 defeat.
Treneris Richards 71. numurs Šveices komandā noraidīts 2 minūtēm par rupjību. Andrēs Martinsens 27. numurs Norvēģijas izlasē noraidīts 2 minūtēm par rupjību. Un Maks Krokā 23. numurs Norvēģijas izlasē noraidīts 2 minūtēm par rupjību. Final score, Team Norway 0, Team Switzerland 3. Spēles gala rezultāts Norvēģija 0, Šveice 3. Shots on goal in the third period. Team Switzerland 5, Team Norway 2. Metieni pa vārtiem trešajā periodā. Šveice 5, Norvēģija 2. Shots on goal in the entire game. Team Switzerland 26, Team Norway 14. Metieni pa vārtiem visā spēlē. Šveice 26, Norvēģija 14. In Tampere, game between France and Denmark ended by result 3-4.
Tamperē noslēgusies Francijas un Dānijas spēle ar 4-3 uzvarot Dānijai.
Ladies and gentlemen, the best players of each team will be awarded by Raiffeisen Bank International, official sponsor of the 2023 IIHF Ice Hockey World Championship.
Dāmas un kungi, lūdzam uzmanību apbalvošanai. Katras komandas labākais spēlētājs saņems balvu no 2023. gada Starptautiskās hokeja federācijas pasaules čempionāta oficiālā sponsora Raiffeisen Bank International.
Prizes will be presented by Ottar Eide, General Secretary of the Norwegian Ice Hockey Association, and Patrick Bloch, CEO of the Swiss Ice Hockey Federation.
Balvas labākajiem pasniegs Ottars Eide, Norvēģijas hokeja asociācijas ģenerālsekretārs, un Patriks Blochs, Šveices hokeja federācijas valdes priekšsēdētājs.
The best player of Team Norway.
Labākais spēlētājs Norvēģijas komandā.
Number 76, numur 76, Emil Lilleberg. The best player of Team Switzerland.
Labākais spēlētājs Šveices izlasē.
Number 43, numur 43, Andrea Glauser. Dear all, please rise if you are able to for the national anthem of Switzerland.
Dāmas un kungi, lūdzam piecelties par godu Šveices valsts himnai.
Your team kept the shots close in the last two periods. What changed from the first to those last two?
I think that we went in mentally stronger in the second and third period. We talked about being cockier and tried to play our game. Like we looked a bit afraid there in the beginning, I think, and didn't really want to play our style of game. So I think that we stepped it up in the second and third.
You've had a fantastic game, 23 save performance on yourself. How do you feel you played?
I feel good. It was the first game for my part this tournament, so it was nice getting out there and getting a lot of shots and offensive time against. That is always fun, but of course it's the wins that count, so we have to go in and try to get the next one.
And then in Norwegian. What will your team take away from this game to make sure you are successful moving forward?
I think that we should take with us that we made a game out of it. It's 2-0 there. We take the goalie and we try. So I think that is something we have to take with us for next game. That we can play against the best teams.
Yeah. Can you repeat that in Norwegian for me?
Jeg synes at vi må gå ut og vise at vi kan fortsette å spille mot de beste lagene. Og det synes jeg vi viser nå mot slutten. Det 2-0 og vi tar ut keeperen og har sjansen. Så det skal vi ta med oss i neste kamp.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job out there. Talk about your team's defense. You guys haven't given up a game so far this tournament. What has made your defense so strong?
It's tough to say. I think everybody is committed to play defense, also the forwards, and that's perfect for us.
And for yourself, goal and assist, you're in on 2 goals of the 3 here so far at this game. What's working so well for you?
It's tough to say, but all the team is playing well and done everything easier also for me, and I'm happy, and especially I'm happy that we won the first 2 games.
This team seems to have a really good confidence coming into this tournament every year. You now have 3 more players that will be joining you. How does that help build your confidence moving forward, knowing how great you've been playing already?
I think we had a great tournament before the start of the World Champion last week, and that's why we came in with a lot of confidence, and then we play 2 solid games yesterday and today, especially the first period. But we are not that happy with the second and the third, so we have to play better the second part of the game.
Can you repeat that answer in your mother tongue, please?
Sorry?
Can you repeat that answer in your language?
I don't remember the question now.
You've got 3 players that are joining you. You guys have already played fantastic. You've come into this tournament with a lot of confidence.
Sì, penso che l'ultima settimana abbiamo avuto un buon torneo che ci ha portato tanto fiducia all'interno della squadra. Abbiamo cominciato molto bene il campionato del mondo ieri e oggi. Siamo contenti di come abbiamo giocato il primo tempo, però dobbiamo fare in modo di giocare meglio anche la seconda parte della partita.
Do you have anything to say to your fans here?
My old friend, I start playing with them how you say, with the online,
yeah.
Outside. I grew up with them.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Thanks.
To the winner goes for you. You ain't gotta tell them I'm great, I'ma show them for you. See me shining so fresh, it's like I'm showing for you. You ain't loyal, I saw you. You don't belong on the same soil, let alone at the same table with big dogs. Big boy, this is hard, pretty raw. You ain't built for it, you ain't got the feel for it. Wanna win, but you ain't got the power or the will